Understanding the Caracol case and its wider significance. What really happened to Alexandra? I'm scared. I'm scared. Please send someone. She made multiple calls to the 112 emergency number. She told them she was kidnapped and raped. She begged for help, but instead of helping her, a police officer told her to hang up because she was keeping the line busy and there were other people calling. This is the story of Alexandra Macesanu, a 15-year-old innocent girl who was raped and killed back in 2019. Popular as the Caracol case, this incident raised many questions. Why didn't the officials help her? Was the killer a member of some sort of human trafficking network? So, who was Alexandra Macesanu? She was a 15-year-old student from Romania who lived in the village of Dobrosloveni. Because of the lack of public transport in Romania, she was forced to hitchhike from her village to Caracol, Olt County, on July 24, 2019. Here, it is important to note that the Romanian government had recently eliminated free regional transport. She was going for a private lesson when a 65-year-old mechanic named Gheorghe Dinca offered her a ride. She didn't know that this guy was a serial killer. Dinca kidnapped her and took her to his house in Caracol, where he repeatedly raped and beat her. Alexandra was able to find a phone in Dinca's home, which she used to call the emergency 112 hotline. However, the police were not able to identify the house until 2 a.m. on July 26th, and they still didn't enter the house. The prosecutor, Christian Ovidiu Popescu, interdicted the police's entrance into Dinca's house by refusing to issue a warrant. He made the officers wait for hours in front of the house. However, many believe that the police should have entered the house out of the need to save a life. What do you think? Whose fault is this? Let me know in the comments below. What's more shocking is that the law did not require them to have a search warrant for entering the building. After waiting several hours, the police arrested Dinca and found dental pieces in a barrel on Dinca's property. The Directorate for Investigating Organized Crime and Terrorism, or DICOT, is the agency that investigated this case. DICOT claimed that they found Alexandra's DNA in the dental pieces found in the barrel and issued a death certificate for Alexandra. Shocking information revealed by Alexandra's uncle. Her uncle, Alexandru Câmpănașu, slammed the officials who heard Alexandra's desperate calls for help. He revealed that she had made 3 calls to the emergency number, but the officials took 19 hours to locate her. In an interview with Euronews, he said, "Those who answered the emergency calls had appalling behavior. They showed nothing but arrogance, neglect, carelessness, and disdain for my niece. They are unprepared, unable, and unfit to do the job." And to prove his claim, he published the transcripts of Alexandra's calls to the emergency hotline. In these calls, one operator can be heard telling her, "How do you expect us to find you?" "Well, give me a landmark from where you are." During the second call, the innocent girl detailed how she was kidnapped and ended up in a locked room. But the operators kept asking the same question, which makes me think that they didn't want to help her. You will be shocked to know that one operator even asked her, "Where do you want us to come, miss? Come on, tell me." She was then transferred to the police station, where a seemingly irritated official told her that someone would come to rescue her in 2 minutes. Câmpănașu said, "The public's response to this tragedy helped us a lot, and many responded to my plea on Facebook for anyone who can provide information that would lead to capturing all those responsible. We have more information now coming from the public than from the authorities." Dinca will spend the rest of his life in prison. Fortunately, the killer was sentenced to 30 years in prison for kidnapping, rape, and murder of 2 girls. He admitted to kidnapping 18-year-old Luisa Malansu and Alexandra and taking them to his house in Caracol on 2 different occasions. He tied both of them to his bed with a chain and raped them before murdering them. He then burned the bodies to hide his crime. Here it is important to note that the killer was 65 years old at the time of committing these horrible crimes. According to Romanian laws, a person over the age of 65 years can get a maximum sentence of 30 years. Moreover, Dinca was also ordered to pay moral damages of €700,000 to the families of the 2 innocent victims. Public reaction. This shocking event got the general public upset, not just in Romania, but all over Europe. People were so upset that they decided to show their anger by coming together in a big group to protest in the capital city, Bucharest. Over 2,500 people joined in the demand that something be done about this terrible event. Interior Minister Nicolae Moga, the person in charge of keeping the country safe, tried to make things right by firing National Police Chief Ion Boda, Olt County Prefect Petri Nesu, and Olt County Police Chief Christian Viochulesu. But even he couldn't handle the pressure, so he ended up quitting his job only a week after starting it. To make matters worse, the Minister of Education, Ekaterina Andronescu, said something that made people even angrier. She remarked, "Young girls should know better than to get in cars with strangers." Well, the Prime Minister dismissed her. Now this whole situation also shows us a bigger problem in Romania. In some parts of the countryside, there aren't enough buses or trains for people to use, so they have to hitchhike, which means getting rides from people they don't know. And this can be risky, and it's a big concern for the safety of people who live there. Prosecutors indicted police chief. In August 2023, it was reported that prosecutors of the Craiova Courts of Appeals in Romania had indicted the chief of the Caracal police, Nicolae Mitria, as well as 3 other police officers. According to the prosecutors, if the police department had acted in a timely manner, Alexandra could have been saved. In the indictment, prosecutors revealed that Mitria was responsible for the search for Alexandra, and he failed to properly evaluate and manage the report concerning the minor's disappearance. And subsequently, the direct report made by her through the 112 emergency line about her abduction. According to the prosecutors, the efforts of the operative team, composed of police officers who acted in the field to identify the location where AM was held captive and to rescue her, were in vain due to the lack of real coordination from the leadership of the Caracal police and the effective transmission of all information available at the time. Dinca might be lying. Remember the dental pieces that contained Alexandra's DNA? Well, some of the teeth exhibited dental work that she did not have, and the forensic specialist did not make note of this. In fact, Alexandra's family refused to recognize the death certificate and claimed that Dinca was lying. Luisa's family also believes Dinca did not murder the girls and is covering a human trafficking network. You will be shocked to know that reports suggest almost 3/4 of the victims in human trafficking networks in the EU come from Romania. They also believe that the prosecutors intentionally delayed the raid. Surprisingly, both families received phone calls from men offering reassurance about the girls. For example, in one phone call, Alexandra's mother told her that her daughter had gotten married and had run away to work abroad. Another piece of information that questions Dinca's claims of incinerating the bodies is that the incineration of the human body produces a noticeable unpleasant smell. Well, Dinca's neighbors didn't smell anything unusual. They did not even notice any smoke coming from his house. So, what can we learn from all this is that sometimes really sad and bad things happen, and it's important for everyone to speak up and make sure justice is done. We also need to work together to make our communities safer, especially for young people who might not have many transportation options. That's all for today's video, and thanks for watching it. Until next time, take care and stay tuned.